You're watching your comfort anime, the one with the soft, kind, slightly awkward main character. You've grown attached, you're vibing, then one single episode comes along and just murders that version of them. Not literally, well, sometimes literally, but mostly it just reaches into their chest, rips out who they used to be, and hands you back someone you don't recognize anymore. Cause here's the thing, anime loves a slow burn character arc, right? Growth over seasons, little lessons here and there, but every now and then the writers go, nah, let's just crash, let's do it in one episode, nah, 20 minutes, fuck it, 10 seconds. And by the end of it, this character is never, ever going to be the same. And maybe you are already thinking about that one character. This poor fella got hit by the tragedy bus twice. First, when he got transformed into a ghoul, and later, in Tokyo Ghoul, Kaneki starts off as a soft, nerdish, book-loving, kinda nervous college kid. Barely hurts a fly, until one terrible date changes everything. Raz, the girl he falls for, turns out to be one of Tokyo's most dangerous ghouls. Her version of taking someone out for dinner was way too literal. But before she can finish him off, falling steel beams crush her. To save Kaneki's life, doctors transplant Rise's ghoul organs into him, turning him into a half-ghoul overnight. Suddenly, he can't eat normal food anymore, craves human flesh, and no longer belongs in either the human or the ghoul world. But since forcibly turning into a human flesh-eating monster isn't enough, he then gets kidnapped by a ghoul named Yamori. Fans call him Jason, cause yeah, he wears that hockey mask like the horror movie guy. Very subtle. Across 2 episodes, 10 straight days, in the storyline, Jason tortures him. Kaneki's body is getting torn apart and regrown over and over. His torture is actual torture to watch, and if you read through it, which was even more detailed, you know what I'm talking about. I am not getting into detail here, but here's the actual gut punch part, the part people forget. The torture is not just physical. Reyes, who's basically living in his head at this point, keeps talking to him like some twisted therapist, walking him through his trauma, showing him everyone who's going to die if he keeps clinging to his old gentle self. So by the time Kaneki breaks out of that chair, he doesn't just have new powers, he's got a completely rewritten personality. The nice, shy boy is gone. What walks out is calculated, detached, and honestly terrifying. 2 episodes. And here's the thing, Jason himself used to be a gentle person too, before he got tortured by an investigator years earlier. So this isn't just Kaneki's origin story, it's a cycle. Broken people making more broken people? Fun show, 10 out of 10, no note, please seek help. The next one is a world ending, and I mean that in the most literal sense possible. Attack on Titan? Obviously. For 3 whole seasons, the show keeps asking one question, what's in Eren's basement? Then season 3, episode 19, the basement? This is such a slow, quiet episode for how much it wrecks everything. Eren, Mikasa, Levi, and Hang finally break the door, and inside, 3 journals and a photograph, no weapons, no monsters, just paperwork. But that paperwork says, humanity did not go extinct outside the walls, like everyone was told their entire lives. There's a whole world out there, with technology, with people living lives Eren never even knew were possible. Everything he believed about his tiny, trapped existence was a managed lie. You know when you find out a small lie someone told you was actually much, much bigger? Now scale that up to your entire species' history is fake. That's what Eren's dealing with. And that is the exact moment where I'll kill every Titan. Eren starts becoming the guy who decides genocide is an acceptable solution to a political problem. It doesn't happen instantly, but it started with a crack. And speaking of one scene reshaping an entire relationship, let's talk about the 2 people who paid for Eren's ending the hardest. Armin wakes up having survived a suicide mission that was supposed to kill him, only to find out the person who died so he could live was Commander Erwin. Erwin, the guy basically everyone in the scout regiment worshipped. Armin didn't ask for this, he didn't even want it, and now he has to carry, literally, physically, as a Titan, the legacy of a man the entire story treated as irreplaceable. That survivor's guilt just sits on him for the rest of the series. He's not the kid who got saved anymore. He's the reason Erwin isn't here. Rough trade. Then, in the final chapter, Mikasa has to kill Eren, the person she loves most, to stop the rumbling. She decapitates him and kisses him one last time. She lives the rest of her life carrying that. So you see, not every character changes because of torture. Sometimes life itself slowly breaks them down, And no one shows that better than Thorfinn from Vinland Saga. Thorfinn spends his entire childhood and teenage years chasing one single goal: kill Askeladd, the man who murdered his father. He becomes a soldier, a killer, an absolute nightmare of a person, all fueled by this one revenge fantasy. Then, in episode 24, the season 1 finale, Askeladd is killed, but not by Thorfinn, by Prince Canute in this weird political sacrifice thing that Thorfinn has zero control over. In one single moment, his entire life's purpose gets stolen right in front of him. And Askeladd's actual last words to him are basically,
"Like it or not, you'll have to move on. Time to pull yourself free."
That episode is the hinge for the entire rest of the story. Thorfinn spends season 2 as a hollowed out shell before he slowly rebuilds himself into someone who refuses to pick up a sword again. From killer to pacifist in one episode. Wonderful. Anyway, back to the pain. ReZero. Subaru's whole thing is that he rewinds time when he dies, so technically he should never really lose anything permanently, right? Well, except emotionally. Yeah, that guy's not okay. But besides that, he is a cheerful, confident good-for-nothing until season 1, episode 18. After he fails, over and over, to save the people in the village, after everyone he loves gets slaughtered on loop, he completely collapses, full despair, begging to just not exist anymore. This isn't the confident protagonist thing anime usually gives you. This is a kid who has genuinely given up. Rem basically has to talk him back from the edge. He rebuilds after that, but confident Subaru from episode 1 is gone. What's left is someone who actually understands how heavy his own power is. Alright, rapid fire round, because there's a pattern across all of these, and I want you to hear it. Akira Fudo in Devilman Crybaby loses Mickey, and with her, the very last piece of hope he had left, right before the story's final tragedy. Krona in Soul Eater, manipulated and betrayed by their own mother. Medusa spirals in a total emotional instability. Hyakkimaru in Dororo learns the full truth of how his own body was sacrificed piece by piece, and the quest for revenge only gets more obsessive from there. Alan Walker in D-Gray Man, the truth about Mana and Nea starts cracking his entire sense of self right down the middle. For all of these characters, it's never a villain with a bigger sword. It's a truth, a death, one single moment of clarity that can't be undone. That kind hits differently. The scariest thing in most of these shows, it isn't the monster. It's a memory. You can defeat a titan, you can win a sword fight, but you cannot fight the fact that you now know something, and you cannot bring back someone you lost. Okay, I can hear some of you thinking, but please don't try necromancy, even though there is no arc where you level up enough to beat grief. But that's honestly why these episodes live rent-free in everyone's head. It's not the animation or the fight choreography. It's that gut drop feeling of watching someone you followed for dozens of episodes just stop being who they were. Which leads me to another concept, because not every broken character rebuilds themselves like Thorfinn. Not everyone carries the guilt like Armin. Sometimes they embrace the pain. Sometimes they decide the world should hurt as much as they do. That's what we're diving into next. How one moment can turn a hero into the very thing they once hated, and why some of anime's greatest villains were only one bad day away from being the protagonist. If you don't want to miss content like this, hit subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.